सुप्रभात। आप सभी का आज की पैनल चर्चा में हार्दिक स्वागत है। Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome you all to today's panel discussion on propelling economic growth for an inclusive Northeast, a theme highly relevant for the development journey of Northeast India. The Northeast is a land of immense potential, rich culture, and breathtaking biodiversity. Yet, it faces unique challenges that call for inclusive economic strategies. Today's panel discussion aims to explore ways to unlock this potential through innovative infrastructure, entrepreneurial ecosystems, and skill development. With our distinguished speakers, we look forward to thought-provoking discussions that pave the way for a prosperous future. बिना समय व्यर्थ किए मैं अब हमारे आदरणीय मुख्य वक्ता श्री चंचल कुमार को मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ। Shri Chanchal Kumar is an IAS officer of the 1992 Bihar cadre and a distinguished alumnus of IIT Kanpur and Duke University. With a stellar career spanning critical roles in state and central government, he has spearheaded transformative initiatives across infrastructure, governance, and regional development. As the Secretary of Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, he leads efforts to unlock the vast potential of the Northeast. Let us welcome him with a big round of applause. अब मैं हमारे अगले सम्माननीय पैनलिस्ट प्रोफेसर किशोर गोस्वामी को मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ। प्रोफेसर गोस्वामी, जो वर्तमान में आईआईटी खड़गपुर के ह्यूमैनिटीज़ एंड सोशल साइंसेज विभाग के प्रमुख हैं, विकास अर्थशास्त्र के अग्रणी हैं। उनकी शोध और पढ़ाई में सूक्ष्म उद्यमिता, महिला सशक्तिकरण और स्थायी कृषि जैसे विषय शामिल हैं। वे उत्तर पूर्व के समग्र विकास के लिए एक अद्वितीय दृष्टिकोण रखते हैं। जोरदार तालियां प्रोफेसर गोस्वामी के लिए। Now, I invite our next distinguished panelist, Dr. Lalit Sharma, to the stage. Dr. Sharma, the director of the Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, is a visionary leader with over 2 decades of experience in corporate and academic sectors. He has championed entrepreneurial ecosystem throughout the country and is closely linked with several industrial associations. Let's welcome him with a warm round of applause. Now, I invite our next eminent speaker, Ms. Nuneseno Cheze, to the stage. Ms. Cheze, Director of YouthNet, is a leader in youth empowerment and women's entrepreneurship. Under her visionary leadership, initiatives like Nagaland's First Business Incubator and women-specific incubation programs have flourished. A graduate of LSE and INSEAD, she continues to champion innovation and inclusivity in the Northeast. Please join me in applauding her as she takes the stage. अब मैं हमारे अगले सम्माननीय पैनलिस्ट श्री बीके सोहलिया को मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ। Shri Sohliya is an inspirational agricultural innovator and the executive advisor and chairman of the Meghalaya Farmers Empowerment Commission. He has developed inclusive support systems for farmers, earning international recognition for his initiatives. कृपया तालियों से इनका स्वागत करें। I now invite our distinguished speaker, Shri Mark Lalduhsaka, to the stage. A social entrepreneur from Mizoram, Mr. Lalduhsaka is the co-founder of Angel Business Promoters, supporting over 1,000 farmers and 100 MSMEs across the region. An alumnus of IIM and NIT, he continues to inspire budding entrepreneurs through his innovative initiatives. Please join me in welcoming him with a big round of applause. अब मैं हमारे सम्माननीय मॉडरेटर श्री लोकेन दास को मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ। Shri Loken Das is the Chief General Manager of Assam Regional Office, NABARD, and has over 2 decades of experience in agriculture and rural development. A postgraduate in agricultural extension and an XRI certificate professional, he has worked across states like Assam, Madhya Pradesh, and West Bengal. His expertise spans credit planning, climate change, women empowerment, and collectivization of farmers, making him an ideal moderator for today's discussion. Please welcome Shri Loken Das with a big round of applause. अब मैं हमारे आदरणीय मुख्य वक्ता श्री चंचल कुमार जी से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि वे मुख्य भाषण दें. A big round of applause for our distinguished keynote speaker.
Distinguished guests on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, I thank the organizer for inviting me to this session. As you know, Northeastern region has a very unique position in terms of location, strategy, and in our overall scheme of things. With less than 4% of population, less than 8% of area, 2/3 of the total area classified as forest, challenging terrain which makes it difficult for any infrastructure project to be implemented there. But still, in the last 10 years, we have achieved tremendous growth and progress in the Northeastern region. If you talk about the goal of Viksit Bharat, we are going to be about $5 trillion economy very soon. And if that has to happen, the growth center for that has to be NER, with a substantial population and tremendous potential in economic growth. Let me tell you that the economic growth rate of Northeastern region is more than the national average. But even though it contributes 4% of the population, it only contributes 2.9% of to the GDP share of the country. So we have to be continuously for a substantial period of time be more than the national average in order to achieve our valid 4% share of the national GDP. So what is it that the government has been doing? First and foremost is the connectivity. Any cost of transaction for a business in Northeast will become unviable, it will become tremendous if you do not have a good connectivity. In the last 10 years, we have constructed more than 5,500 kilometers of national highways. We have constructed more than 46,000 kilometers of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana using 47,000 crores. Number of airports in the Northeast region, it rose from 9 to 17. All the states are connected. We have reached and added more than 2,000 kilometers of railway line, and we have more or less gone to each state. And in the next couple of years, we'll be connecting all the capitals also, except for Sikkim, where we'll go up to Sevok, Rangpo. We have increased from 1 inland waterways to 20 inland waterways. Last year only we inaugurated Agartala-Akhara railway line, which connects India to Bangladesh for better trade and facilitation. Almost 95% of the villages and 80% of the area are covered with 3G and 4G. So whether you talk it in terms of physical infrastructure connectivity or digital connectivity, now any state's Northeast region is a much improved, much connected place. If we come to agriculture, again, we have used more than 1.5 lakh hectares of area for organic farming. You know, Sikkim is a fully organic state. But other states also say that we are, by default, a natural state. We do natural farming. We do not use much fertilizer. Now the government has decided to give more facilities, more assistance to farmers under Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern region. When we talk to investors from all over the country and world, we see that there is renewed interest in agriculture and horticulture products of Northeast. You know of the GI tag products. I have seen there are many exhibitions, many stalls in the exhibitions which display GI products. As I was saying, Ministry of Donor was organizing Astalakshmi Mahotsav last month, and we had displayed something around 58 GI tagged products in agriculture, horticulture, or handloom handicraft sector. You can see the potential of Northeast in terms of whether it is Lakadong turmeric of Meghalaya, Queen's pineapple of Tripura, or cardamom from Sikkim, or Naga chili. So many things, so many things. The potential is there. So now the need is to see that all these advantages are leveraged. And we have been doing it through many government schemes. With the assistance of state government, we are finding that there has been increase in the production. Because normally, I must tell you that Northeastern states are not self-sufficient in terms of its own needs in agricultural products. We send it from the rest of the country. That situation has to change, and the focus of the government is to increase production in Northeastern region by giving them assistance, by encouraging private investors to come and set up their processing facilities there. Two of our PSUs, NEHSDC and NERAMAC, they are engaging with many farmer producer organizations and farmers and entrepreneurs to see how we can expand our agricultural footprint in the Northeastern region. And this has borne fruit. We have seen that the production has increased, dependence on the rest of the country has decreased to that extent. We had Interministerial Task Force for Agriculture, Interministerial Task Force for Agarwood. They have submitted their recommendations, and now we are processing the recommendations of these committees. Agarwood is said to be, per drop agarwood is worth more than equal weight of gold. I don't know whether you're aware of agarwood product or not, but Tripura, Assam, and other places also. In Tripura itself, the potential is more than 7,000 crore per year. That's the potential. So now there is a plan. We are trying to see how we can increase the footprint for agarwood production, and mostly it has to be exported. So the export regime has to be made friendly, has to be made progressive, and there has been substantial changes in that. We have seen the first lot of a small amount of products being exported legally from the country last year. Rubber and bamboo products are niche products which can be used. Bamboo is said to be green gold, and the potential of bamboo products in Northeastern region is, again, all the states have so much of bamboo plantation. NECBDC, Northeastern Cane and Bamboo Development Council, is again engaging with all of them to see how we can aggregate the farmers, aggregate the growers, and make niche product in Northeastern region only, and then export it using some of the large aggregators like Amazon or ATP and other companies. If you talk about the tourism potential, with its natural beauty, with its unique cultural heritage, with local attractions, Northeast is something where everybody wants to go. Let me tell you again, few spots are there which attract maximum number of footfalls, but the potential of many number of other spots, other tourist places are there where you have not been there. Local homestays, local cuisine, local festivals, local cultural attractions. These are some things which is unique to that area. And now they are using it to promote it. You have music festival in Zero, Hornbill Festival, Cherry Blossom Festival, so many festivals, Bihu Festival, so many festivals. So now we are trying to brand them, attract people, and make Northeast region capital for music and cultural programs. And that is happening. We have seen there is a large increase in the number of tourist footfall in Northeastern region. Investors have shown great interest in setting up hospitality center, homestays, and that is a large potential which needs to be tapped. The role of community is very important. As is known to you, the position of northeastern states vis-a-vis Gram Panchayat of a typical northeastern, typical rest of the country state is different. Local village chief, autonomous councils, tribal chiefs, they take much of the decisions in terms of land, in terms of implementation of projects. There is unique position of land acquisition process in Northeast. Generally, typically, government does not own much of the land. It is owned by the village head, village chief, autonomous council. So whenever you go for a road project on any alignment in the state, land acquisition becomes slightly more cumbersome. That delays our infrastructure project or implementation of many more projects. So that is something we are engaged with all the states to see that the processes, procedures, provisions are simplified. We are able to make available land to the implementing agency in much more lesser time. And that is now happening. So many projects, road projects which used to take 4 years, 5 years to complete, now we are able to complete them in much less period of time. One of the concerns of Northeastern region is low CD ratio. Credit deposit ratio is low. It is only around 60%, whereas the national average is 79%. This is something which has been deliberated upon time and again by many stakeholders, including Ministry of Finance, NABARD, and other agencies, the state governments. We have to increase this CD ratio. Whatever innovative measures are there, financial products, instruments are there, we have to see that the priority lending, annual credit plan, annual action plan by the districts, they are deliberated intensively in the SLBC meeting, the state level bankers committee meeting, and we see that the CD ratio increases. That is a priority which we have to do. In skill development, let me tell you, the educational level of Northeast is much better compared to rest of the country. The literacy level, the comfort level with computers is much better. And hence, we find that there is great demand for people in health sector from Northeast in Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Germany, and this is something which we are building upon. We would like more of people from Northeast to go for these sectors to foreign countries. In fact, Northeast has the potential to become the medical hub of the Southeast Asia. A strategy is to make it the gateway to Southeast Asia in terms of trade, facilitation, medical connect, export-import of products of our requirement, and that is something which we are working on. One of the mandates of ministry is to see that 55 Government of India ministry and departments, they spend minimum 10% of their budget in Northeastern region. In 2014, we spent around 24,500 crores in Northeastern region. So that was the amount of public investment. Last year, this figure went up to 1,02,749 crores in 1 year. Essentially what I'm saying is, we spent more than 4.2 times the amount that we spent in 2014. This shows the increased appetite and the capacity of the state in Northeastern region to execute and implement a project. Now we can implement a project in very efficient fashion. When we see how they have fared in the last 10 years, in the last 10 years, this 10% target for the Northeastern state was 5.15 lakh crore. So we were supposed to, through 55 ministries, spend 5.15 lakh crore in Northeastern region. We spent 5.22 lakh, 7,000 crore more in Northeastern region in the last 10 years. This shows the seriousness of the government. So when we talk about act policy of the government, act first and then act fast. So the idea is we should increase our efficiency, accelerate our resource funding to Northeastern states so that their contribution to the national economy, GDP growth rate becomes proportional. Ministry of Donor is also implementing around 3,500 projects worth 44,000 crores in Northeastern region. We have completed around 2,400 odd schemes, projects worth 24,000 crores. Remaining are in the pipeline. We expect to complete that within the next couple of years. So with so much of investment in the Northeastern region, we expect that the growth rate takes place. Ecosystem is built. We used to talk to so many investors. We have been conducting road shows, investor roundtable all over the country with all the 8 states. So we go there, we pitch, each state pitches their USP in terms of investment scenario, and then we have MOUs. So from March 2024 to December 2024, we had investment road shows in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai. Next one is about to be there in Ahmedabad on 17th. So in last year itself, we have signed MOUs worth 44,000 crore and letter of intent worth 33,000 crore. And now we are monitoring the grounding of these projects. You must have known about the semiconductor fabrication unit coming up in Assam, 27,000 crore plus. That project in itself is very important, but more important is the fact that it has created a very enabling ecosystem. Now other companies are also thinking that if IT company can go there, which requires much sophistication, much skill, and a higher degree of compliance of all rules and regulations, then other sectors are much easier. A project in hospitality sector, a project in agriculture processing, food processing, IT, ITS, or education, or health, or textile, it's very important. And they can be done very easily. I talked about GI products. Northeast has more than 60% of weavers of the country. They have many number of GI tags, and the Muga silk, Aries silk, and other varieties of items that are found there and that are produced there is very enticing. And now world has come to realize it. We are seeing that there is renewed interest again in this textile sector in terms of increased investment. So today I hope that this conference and this panel discussion will come up with some ideas of how to increase our resource reach to the population, how we can help the farmers, entrepreneurs of Northeast in terms of increased access to finances, in terms of increased access to education, health. We are already doing many projects, many things. So rest assured that those things are taken care of. it is true that, as I said, CD ratio is less, so more brick and mortar structure needs to come. But then using technology, we can increase our penetration of finance. Today, there is peace and stability in Northeast. A good ecosystem has been developed. The stage is all set for the second round of developmental journey. We have good connectivity, we have good sectoral policies, investment policies, incentive policies by the states. I have been talking to all the honorable chief ministers and chief secretaries of the 8 states. I can speak on their behalf when I say that investors are welcome. A state has the appetite, it has the capacity to execute projects. So, Government of India, all ministries, private sector players, everybody should show more keenness, more interest in seeing to it that more grounding of projects are there in the Northeast. Gone are the days when you had so many stories of insurgencies and law and order problem. It's almost gone, barring a few incidents. It is minimal. Now, the stage is all set for the development to take center stage. I request everyone, all stakeholders, to come and seize the opportunity, whether it is Government of India Ministry, or whether it is state government, or whether it is private investors, or any other stakeholder. This is the time when you should invest in Northeast, and as I say, somebody who goes there first will have the first mover advantage. Because after some time, you will find there are so many players in the same sector. So, one should seize the opportunity and see that the due of the Northeast is given to it. It is developed in a very sustainable, seeing the sensitive eco-nature, it is developed in a sustainable manner, and that we are able to come up to the expectations of the people there. Thank you. Jai Hind.
A big round of applause for our keynote speaker. धन्यवाद. आपने हमें उत्तर पूर्वी भारत के समग्र विकास के लिए एक स्पष्ट और प्रेरणादायक दृष्टिकोण दिया है. Without further ado, I now hand over to our esteemed moderator, Shri Loken Das, to take charge of the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Good morning, DMD sir. All the dignitaries present here, dignitaries on the dais. I'm sure everyone is energized with what our keynote speaker, Secretary Donor sir, had now, informed us about what has already gone into the process of developing a good ecosystem in Northeast. Like he said, from communication to even digitalization, everywhere, lot of effort has been made by the ecosystem builders, by the government. What is required of is to make the ecosystem work. A road is developed, but if no one travels by the road, that's of no use. Now, so much of support has been extended. Definitely, there will be some more issues to be addressed, maybe some more roads to be built, maybe some more other facilities to be extended. But whatever has been done, if that is utilized in the best possible manner, that itself will propel growth and also the excitement in people to grow. I'm quite sure with the esteemed panelists here, we'll be having more knowledge, understanding, and also the pathway will be laid by them as to whatever has happened, how we can make the best use of it, and what other initiatives is to be taken. Now, I hope the discussion will result in some way, 3 kind of pointers at the minimum. One is for the ecosystem interventions that is to be done. Second one is how to make the ecosystem work, how to make use of the benefits that have been extended, and most importantly, what will be the role of the people who stays there. Yesterday we were discussing with our panelists. So one of the panelists has said, someone coming from outside and trying to extend support cannot push everybody to a situation where he is economically better off than what he is at present. For that, the people in Northeast will also have to begin to realize that works need to be got done. So I think in that line also we'll be getting pointers. There will be responsibilities of those who are from Northeast, those who are in Northeast, the common people, the youth, the budding entrepreneurs, to chase the opportunity. And with this, I open up the discussion for today. The first person I would like to invite is Professor Kishor Goswami, who would be discussing about infrastructure requirements and how do we build what Secretary Sir has rightly indicated, the potential of tourism and ecotourism to bring in revenue to Northeast. With this, I hand over to Kishor Goswami. Thank you.
Distinguished panelists on the dais and my dear friends, very good morning. At the beginning, I want to thank NABARD for giving me these opportunities to be here with you. Although it was a very short notice, but I'm really happy to be a part of this process and to learn many things from you. Mr. Kumar already highlighted almost many dimensions related to Northeast. Of course, he is working there for quite some time, so he is quite experienced also. So in one way, he is making my life a little bit tougher. The other way, he is making it more easier also, because instead of concentrating more on typical aspects of infrastructure, rather I would be happy to share some of my experience, because though I am located in West Bengal, but almost 99 or maybe you can say 100% of my research projects are mostly in Northeast, in all the states, almost all the states. Over the years, I am doing it. So when we talked about improving infrastructure, so basically there are certain common issues all of us are very much aware. One is obviously transport infrastructure. In the context of tourism, I will focus more on, like roads, airports, and railways, and so and so. So already Mr. Kumar highlighted also some of that recent development in Northeast. And if I compare my experience from last around 20 years in Northeast, then there is a tremendous development. But along with that, in the context of tourism or ecotourism sector, if we look at, then one of that missing link is accommodation. Another missing link is with respect to hospitality sector. Means, with respect to accommodation, in many places hotels are coming up, but in many places good hotels are still missing. You forget about hotels, even homestay facilities are very, very limited. Immediately after COVID, we were in Anini. So it was very difficult even to get a good hotel there. Anini means it is many of you are aware that it is border to China. It's in Arunachal Pradesh. A very famous place. It's upcoming because of very high quality kiwi cultivation. And we were there related to value chain management of kiwi. Anyway, so this is one aspect. Then if we talked about digital infrastructure, although we are having maybe 4G, or I'm not sure whether 5G is available in Northeast or not, but with respect to tourism sector, this branding or outreach is missing. Say I am interested to travel certain remote areas. Yesterday also we were discussing in that direction, but we quite often, I discussed that aspects also, that sometimes people may say that, okay, Northeast people are very, very lazy. Sometimes people may say. But many people from, say, mainland India I mean to say maybe from different metros or different big cities or from different other parts of India, they are traveling Northeast to enjoy a lazy life. So that kind of life attract different tourists. So if you say that, okay, that life is lazy, but one way it is good, people are happy. But of course, along with, say, information and with respect to development, so different dimensions are coming into picture, like opportunities, employment opportunities, and so and so. And another aspect with respect to infrastructure is what I mentioned is your hospitality sector. Because at certain stage, along with branding, we need a good hospitality sector. Tourist guide as well as proper guidance, those informations are missing. So, but another positive thing is that in Northeast, because of its natural beauty and other dimensions, so of late, in many areas, green spaces are coming up, sustainable practices are extensively started following along with ecotourism. So when we talk about ecotourism, it's a form of sustainable tourism that promotes your natural environment, or it maintains your natural environment, along with it promotes local culture, and it minimizes environmental disturbances that we all know. And if we look at these different ecotourism spots, just I want to highlight some of them. Like in Kaziranga, you will find definitely ecotourism spots are there. In Majuli, it's one of that main attraction. Then Namdapha National Park is there, Living Root Beach, so many places you will find ecotourism. But along with that, of late, we started promoting even different form of cultural tourism also. Like even maybe in Hornbill Festival, say for example in Nagaland, or even in Zero Valley, Zero Music Festival is becoming quite popular. So in different way, people started moving it. People started promoting it. But still, what I feel that to some extent that branding is missing. If you look at some of that photograph, because I brought few photographs. Few of these photographs are from internet, but many of these photographs I have taken while traveling different places. Say for example, this is a family-run bamboo homestay in Majuli. It's in Majuli you will find a lot of other ecotourism activities also, along with other activities. But this is a very, gradually this is becoming very, very popular. But at the same time, this because why I prefer to bring here photograph, because photograph speaks a lot. And you can imagine also what kind of things, and what is your requirement. So will you be happy to have such kind of maybe stay? Some people may say it is yes, some people may say that no, it is not up to the mark. We need better facilities. So here comes your requirement. So that means with respect to good quality hotel and other things, we need many more things to do. Of course, the bridge between Majuli and that mainland Assam, particularly in south side, that is coming up, and hopefully within a year or two, hopefully it will be ready. But in that case, we expect that it will be better. But in later part, there may be other dimensions also, whether we are in a position to maintain that kind of environment or not, natural beauty or not. So other dimension also may come into picture. See, these are some of the parts of traditional missing, because in Majuli is well known for its missing culture. So these are some of that photographs that talked about. Many of these tourism activities, it's attached with this kind of activities, such kind of food and activities you can exercise even there in Majuli. Some of that photograph related to Majuli in natural beauty. It's in riverside of Brahmaputra. But if we look at Anini, say for example, so in Anini, it is two tributaries, that is your Dibang River, this is of the Dibang River, this is Dry River and Mathu River. So very scenic beauty, very beautiful place, this Anini. But the only thing is that it takes from rowing, it takes almost 12 hours journey. So it's a big issue, road infrastructure. And of course, new campsites and other things are coming up. So I mentioned some of the big challenge in those areas, location-specific challenges, like roads, rail, low tourist amenities. Because as I said at the beginning, even good quality hotel is not there. Only I found around 6 or 7 homestay is there. Even if tourist is interested, because of accommodation, they find it sometimes even difficult to go there. And obviously, tourists also expect for emergency medical facilities and other kind of facilities. This is, I'm not sure whether it will work or not. This was actually a video, but it may not work here, maybe. So that shows actually in fraction of second how your infrastructure destroyed. It is easy to say that, okay, we need it, but one of the big challenge in Northeast that although road infrastructure and other things may be there, but because of, many a times because of natural disaster, many a times it's becoming very, very expensive, or maintaining those things is always a big challenge. This is another example, this is another aspect of zero. Here, good thing is that good hotels and other accommodations are coming up. Although different challenges are there, quickly I have to finish it up. Some of that photograph quickly I want to say. This is another in zero. Along with ecotourism, they started exercising even farm tourism also. They are linking it up. So new model they are coming up. Along with that, rainwater harvesting is there. Along with that, other activities are going on there. This is in the context of Assam, in Sibsagar districts. So in Sibsagar, it's quite popular, of course, but when we look at from tourist perspective, good quality hotels are difficult to see. They are getting it, but depending upon that, say, category of tourists, because different category of tourists demands different kind of accommodation as well as good facilities. So to some extent, that is also missing here. Then another is, so when we talked about these economic opportunities, obviously, particularly in hospitality sector, directly it generates employment. There's no doubt about it. It generates employment. It fosters opportunities for self-employment, creates market for local goods and service, because in tourist spot, just like here, many of you are observing also, tourist spot, it is not only a tourist spot that tourists are coming, seeing that spot and they are leaving it. No, you are getting an opportunity to promote your local culture, local handloom, handicraft products and so. But those products has to be say, value-added product. I have 1 or 2 photographs related to a comparison, how to do it, maybe, or this one. Like say, for example, this photograph. Right-hand side, you see, in a typical way, we are preparing those handloom, handicraft products. Left side, this is a value-added product. So we have to go for this market-oriented. Depending upon customers' requirement, we have to improve. Along with, so value chain management is becoming a very, very important aspect in Northeast. We have many things, but our marketing is very, very weak. See, another one is Mr. Kumar was also talking about the GI tag and so. But we have to prepare a product based on customers' requirement. Otherwise, we will stuck itself. Over the years, we used to sell Muga and Eri, particularly keeping in mind about only these people in Assam, particularly in Muga. And in my project, I used to ask this question that why are you not diversifying your product? It is a very high demand. And their answer was, I am without any difficulty, I am selling my product. Why should I go for this one? There are other aspects also I do not want to highlight right now because there were many projects I did related to even technology adoption and what kind of difficulties in technology, what is that advantage in traditional technology versus modern technology, how it was overcome. So different dimensions are there. Maybe sometime I can highlight later part. And this is another in top right bottom. This is a typical way they are selling it. But if we use this can and bamboo, we can export it. And many young entrepreneurs are coming up to sell that kind of products. And they are doing it. And it is having a much more potential. This is in Arunachal related to that project. So you see, in Dirang, they were having a very bad quality this one is self-help group produce very bad quality wine, self-help group. And this is in Zero, Naraba, they are exporting to this wine to many Middle East countries. So it shows actually that if you are really creating high quality product, market is not at all an issue. Investment is also not at all an issue, particularly in other part of countries, startups are coming up, particularly in IIT system I saw, people are ready to invest. But while before investing, they want to see what is its potential. Because as an investor, I will see what is its potential and accordingly I will do it. I will take just maybe 1 minute. This is our visit related to another project, Wild Apple. Although product was Wild Apple, photography is not there, but this is in Manipur and Nagaland border, Phek districts. So very good, high quality organic product, but it is rotten. No processing industries, nothing. Mr. Kumar already said different aspects about land acquisition, setting up industries, different restrictions are there. But at certain stage, maybe we have to go for a little bit modification, or with local entrepreneur, we have to think about developing at least semi-processed products so that we can transport it to some other parts. But it's a very high quality. Because I was in Europe as well as in US also, but I never tested this kind of organic product. All are organic, but it is rotten. So last slide. So the aspects is obviously public investment, this is coming up, but along with that, what I feel that private incentive for private sectors also has to be there. Like government often provides subsidy, tax intensive and simplified approval process to attract private sector participation. But that private sector participation is relatively, or still it is less, because government cannot do everything. At certain stage, it has to attract private sector. And when they are involving private sector, then there will be more and more accountability on the part of the entrepreneur also. It's there. And along with that, obviously, when public-private partnership is there, it will move coming up, then there will be high economic growth, and there will be more sustainable and conservation aspects will also be there. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Goswami. During his discourse, he has really taken us through many facets of tourism-based development process and how it also triggers requirement for other different kind of infrastructures, as well as I think we can also say it this way, we can tell it this way, that how building infrastructures in different areas or different kind of infrastructures actually result in maybe more tourist flow. I hope whatever he had just now pointed out, especially in relation to development of infrastructure, specifically aiming towards retaining and enhancing tourist flow, giving tourists the experience so that we can, what they call in marketing is come, that customers delight for every tourist who goes there and returns with this feeling in mind, I need to go again. It's difficult. There will be issues. But it is in solving the difficult issues that one normally finds satisfaction. And I'm quite sure all the ecosystem is geared up now, as our keynote speaker had already indicated. I'm quite sure the discourse of Professor Goswami will go a long way in developing some more specific facilities for or specific initiatives, interventions in Northeast. One thing I would like to flag that is regarding textiles. He showed the Muga Meghalaya chadar and he was indicating about the required GI, and see GI, when it is given for the specific product, then it becomes little difficult to make another product and claim it as a GI product, because those specifications will have to be adhered to. But when it is being given as textiles, suppose in case of some of the initiatives from our side, missing textiles we have given, say Karbi textiles, we put it in that way only, so that the whole array of products, and along with that, those designs, because those designs are very unique. Now it is many times very important to conserve those designs. A certain design, when we saw anywhere, it reminds us of Madhubani, sometimes of Patachitra. Likewise, the specific designs, there are certain designs which are very, which are being used in Assam. I'm just speaking about Assam from very long, but now it is being utilized in different, different products. I find that we utilize in different products manufactured in different parts of the country. It is because that particular design, particular motif has some quality in it for which it is being adopted. Now, if we don't conserve it, that exquisiteness of that, the specification of those particular exquisite items might be diluted. So here we have initiated that process. I'm just, informing the House, and as he had indicated about the wine, especially the Nara wine. I think she is the person who got this Shark Tank's money also. And the day she was getting that Shark Tank investment, there was some another program where she was to be felicitated. So what I would also like to mean is that along with the money, recognition, and applaud also comes. So what is required of those who are from Northeast, those who are in Northeast, is that they need to take the plunge. Now things are happening, especially in tourism sector. If we see, so many things are happening. There are so many homestays especially are coming up. Because if one goes for a very huge infrastructure of a 5-star hotel, people may not be available. Footfall will be only regional or time specific. But we don't have infrastructures in World Heritage Sites, Saraido, Maidam. And I have not seen any specific kind of a drive or kind of initiative to immediately go for development of some good infrastructure nearby, which will be not detrimental to the environment. So sustainability remains. So those are areas where the local people have to also be geared up. People also will have to take it up, because building an infrastructure and giving it for refuse, it always remains, ye to bana ke diya gaya hai. Ye to diya gaya hai. I don't own it up. So it is also required that people are involved thoroughly so that the ownership is very strong, so that the maintenance will be strong. With this, we, because finally, if people have to come, they will normally look for Lalit, look for Hayat and all those things. So likewise, we need to also look for brands. But how do we do that branding? Branding will be done by someone who's doing business. But first of all, there should be someone who's doing the business. So we call them entrepreneur. So how do we go about developing this whole scenario of entrepreneurship development in the Northeast? And also definitely related to that, branding and all other issues will be there. I request Dr. Sharma to take up from his vast experience of working with entrepreneurship institutes for quite long. Thank you.
Respected Secretary Sir, officials from NABARD, and other dignitaries on the dais, a very good morning to all of you. So today I've been asked to talk a little about the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the related issues with it with regard to marketing, branding, which are commonly faced by the entrepreneurs. I'll briefly touch upon these topics one by one. We'll talk about the issues that we are facing, the small entrepreneurs that they are facing. Some of the proposed solutions are also there. Let us have a little understanding of the entire structure of the entrepreneurship in the northeastern region, first of all. See, the economy of NER is primarily dominated by clusters, self-help groups, Bandhan Vikas Kendras, and skill-based entrepreneurship as well. As per government data, there are some 9 lakh micro enterprises in the region. Nearly 40% of them are not even registered with having Udyam registration. And nearly 10 to 12,000 of them are medium or small. Majority of them are small, micro enterprises, sorry. So we are talking about the micro enterprises. So as we understand that since most of these entrepreneurs are small, doing small businesses, very, very micro businesses. So they have their own challenges. We will talk about them. We also need to understand what is happening in the startup ecosystem in the NER. And let me tell you, today we have got, as of now, some 2,000 startups which are registered across NER in all 8 states. And the number is actually very, very less if we compare with the rest of the country, where as of now, nearly 1.5 lakh startups have been registered. So definitely we need to focus on this area. A very complementary to startups is the incubation centers, and across NER we have got some 28 incubators, and across the country we have got more than 1,100 incubation centers, which certainly shows the gap that a lot of amount of work actually needs to be done in this area. And when we talk about incubators, there are different models of incubators. Are they sector specific? They may not be sector specific, they may be general to the students' requirements. Some of them have got the facility of developing the prototypes, MVPs. Then there are others wherein the rest of the supports, like the networking support is provided, financial linkages, marketing linkages, and all these supports are provided. As of now, the ecosystem of incubators is very shallow. We need to actually expand upon it. Clusters, as I said, there are nearly 103 or 104 clusters across NER. Every cluster has got some minimum 300 to 1,200, 1,500 people who are engaged with each of the clusters. There are different government schemes for startups, for clusters, skilling, for other different forms of entrepreneurship. As we understand from this ecosystem that since majority of the entrepreneurs who are working over there, they are micro entrepreneurs. They need a lot of support actually. They need a lot of support from the government, they need a lot of support from the society, and some level of professionalism is required in order for them to develop regional brandings. See, since the products that they are developing is largely based on the natural resources of the northeastern region, it is important for us to understand their issues, especially issues related to marketing and branding. In terms of production, yes, there are issues, but I guess Bandhan Vikas Kendras have been giving them machineries, giving them production facilities. There are other government schemes through which they are getting different kinds of production support, but one area where they are majorly lacking is marketing and branding. I will quickly touch upon this area as well. See, as you know that we are contributing, you see, NER as a whole is contributing some 2.7% of India's GDP, and there is a lot of potential that still remains untapped. We'll talk about them. See, 80% of brands of northeastern region, they report low profitability. There can be many reasons. One of the reasons being economy of scales. And you see, these people, as you work with them, they do not even have formal understanding of the business. What is business? What is business plan? What is revenue? What is the difference between revenue and profits? And so on and so forth. Only 20% of brands have an online presence via various platforms. Majority of them do not even have an online presence. As I said, that there is an underutilized market potential of unique products of NER. There are, as of now, nearly 80 GI tag products from NER. But if we talk about their consumptions in the market, that is very, very less. And that is an area where we need to focus, where we need to actually work upon. And that is an area where majority of the people can actually develop their businesses. See, even some of our unique products, they are facing challenges. For example, see, this Bhoot Julakia, which is the hottest chili, we are unable to find a good market across, even outside NER, we are facing difficult to find markets. Whereas it has got potential in the international market as well. Lacadong turmeric. We have to place the Lacadong turmeric in the price range of the normal turmeric, whereas Lacadong is far much more superior in nature. But primarily because we are not able to market it properly, we are not able to brand it properly, the entrepreneurs face troubles. You see, these are some of the challenges where the entrepreneurs are facing difficulties. First thing, you see, the awareness of the unique products of NER is definitely absent, and we need to create awareness. This is one area where I think a lot of government support is also required. Unprofessional use of marketing tools. See, there are not many expert marketing agencies available in northeastern region. Whatever entrepreneur is doing on his own, whatever he is able to design in terms of logos, in terms of taglines, he does it based on his own understanding of these things. And you see, when it comes to catering to the market outside NER, it becomes very difficult for him because he is not aware of the market outside. What is the consumer preferences? What kind of things do consumers want outside NER? That becomes another issue for him. And of course, we are natural and organic, but you see that we as Secretary Sir very rightfully pointed out, by default we are organic. But then people take it otherwise. They take it for granted. They do not understand how, majority of the self-help groups with whom we work, they don't even know what is a preservative. And that is one of the reasons these consumable items, they spoil very quickly. But that is fine with them. They are still okay with it. And online engagement is one of the big issues. So these are some of the challenges that we see are there, which we see in the products of NER. And in terms of packaging also, I would like to tell you, see, over 60% of these local brands, they use very, very basic packaging. And this basic packaging fails to attract the premium customers. In many of the instances, you will see that they will simply place it in a very common plastic packets and they will try to market it. Because you see, there is an obvious cost involved in packaging. If you increase the cost, the product cost also increases. So it becomes very difficult for the entrepreneurs to market their products. And it is known from various sources that 80% of FPOs in the northeastern region, they are facing packaging as a problem. And you see, the packaging that is being used, it doesn't comply with the global retail standards. So we need to actually work upon that. And there is another problem. See, the atmosphere, the climatic presence, the climate presence of the northeastern region is such that the humidity is too much. So it becomes very important that the packaging has to be very strong in order to preserve the integrity of the product, to preserve the richness of the product. But somehow the entrepreneurs are not much willing to invest in the packaging side. And since the resources are very limited, they would like to invest more on the other resources rather than on packaging. So yes, logo development, tagline creations, nearly 50% of the brands you will not even find any taglines with these brands. And the taglines which they use are very, very, very common. You see, for example, hand woven silk by women of Meghalaya, fresh from Northeast. It doesn't resonate with the consumers somehow. And online brand presence, as I told you, it is one of the crucial areas to work upon. It is known that nearly 20% brands, only 20% brands are on e-commerce platform, and less than 20% of NER brands, they have their own functional website. So it's a big, big gap, a huge gap. Today, wherein we see in the metro cities, even the smallest of the entrepreneur has its own website, no matter how small the breadth of the business be. In NER, you will find some of the unique products, they lack their own websites even. And their social media presence is almost negligible. The digital marketing strategy is not there, because of which a setback is definitely there. And we hereby propose a few solutions. See, obviously, branding is required. Packaging has to be very, very strong. And some uniqueness wherein you will find some entrepreneurs what they are doing. For example, in this Lakadong Turmeric, one of these companies, they are using local brand ambassadors to promote their product, because I'm sure you must be aware of this woman who has been promoting the local farmers in Meghalaya, and she has also received a Prime Minister's award. And with this, they are able to promote the uniqueness of the product. Digital presence definitely required, highlighting GI tags. See, GI tag products can play a major game in the market. It highlights the legacy of the products. And very recently, we have seen that NEHSDC has digitalized products of weavers of NER, which is a very, very good step. And once we try to capitalize upon our GI tag products, we can definitely give a good market to our customers, not just in our NER, but outside NER as well. And capacity building is an area which needs to be there. And IIE as an institution, we are trying to provide digital marketing trainings to nearly 6,000 of these small help groups. And we are trying to bring nearly 200 local brands online on various platforms like ONDC and other platforms as well. And one more experiment that we have done is we have tried to give unified brand identity, which has been a very, very good step, I think, which has shown very good results. For example, if we talk about Vandan Vikas Kendras, there are nearly 500 Vandan Vikas Kendras in northeastern region, and some 240 or 250 of them have been developed by Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship. So instead of developing separate brands for all 250 of those FPOs, we have made one single brand, one umbrella brand, under which the products of all those 250 Vandan Vikas Kendras are brought in. So one single brand name by the name of Trisim, Tribes of Assam, was developed, and we saw that instead of everybody working on branding, one brand, and this one brand has got more than 180 products under its umbrella brand. And this has given very good result. We started this experiment in 2020, and today by 2024, we have seen the revenue of nearly 5.2 crores, which has been a good step. I think this could be a good strategy. Then use of storytellings, which means that we need to inform the customers about the uniqueness of NER products, the story of manufacturing of products. And NHSDC, I told you earlier also, they have done a very good thing in this. They have attached QR codes. So once you do this, scan this QR codes, you will come to know about the person who has manufactured it. Even the video of the person who manufacturing that product has also been introduced. And where exactly is it located? Exact latitude, longitude. This gives a very strong brand determination that yes, this is a unique, authentic product of NER. So these are some of the steps that have been taken or are being taken to promote the small entrepreneurs of the region. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. I think all these discussions about entrepreneurship, branding, and of course, branding means it's also related to marketing, definitely have helped all of us to think about what can be done and what should be done. There are definitely brands by many of the institutions of at the government level, but definitely the entrepreneurs would also need to put their brand to the market. So now I request Ms. Nones from to kindly give her address. Thank you.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Respected Secretary, Ministry of Donor, and distinguished panelists, officers from NABARD, guests who are present at this venue, people who are watching us online from the media. I bring very warm New Year greetings to all of you from the state of Nagaland. I will be rewinding some of the points highlighted by our keynote speaker and our previous panelists as well. So 20 plus 10, 10, 30 minutes of rewinding of some of the topics that I will be talking about. And that is the role of digital and financial inclusion in bridging regional imbalances. So while I was doing a little bit of research, this is AI-generated image. And then when I was going through it, I was telling my colleague as well that I think we need to train AI, or we need to bring someone who is working in the AI to come to the Northeast region, because we could not find any apt image to even represent the Northeast region. And when we took tribal, then some of the images were very similar to Thailand or Vietnam, and I was really angry with even the AI. I checked Gemini, I checked OpenAI, and even Copilot as well. And I said, I think we need to bring them to the Northeast region, tell them that there are 8 Northeastern regions, and we cannot have cycles or trucks showcased in terrace field cultivation like some of our terrains have. So, that is just an education to whoever, is listening. Please come to Northeast region, and then you will be educated, and, you will be able to find out that we are very different. All the 8 Northeastern regions, we are unique. And though it is Northeast region, bridging Northeast region, I will be mostly talking about from the context of Nagaland as well. So the theme would be how to improve digital infrastructure, financial inclusion, and in order for us to bridge the gap, we need to definitely introduce skill development, not only for the adults, but even skill development like vocational education in the school as well. And then entrepreneurship and innovation, and how do we leverage technology. So those are some of the themes that I will be covering today. So, setting the context of the Northeast region, we are all aware this is not news to anyone, but then we have definitely, we will continue to face geographical challenges. We are characterized by rugged terrain, remote locations, and limited connectivity, posing significant infrastructure and accessibility challenges as well. There are definitely, yes, economic disparities behind the national average in key economic indicators like GDP, per capita income, and employment opportunities, leading to uneven development. And also, due to the infrastructure gaps, we see a lot of migration of young people, our youth, to the cities because there are lack of opportunities in our state. And I am also one of the examples. Right after my education, I was in Bangalore. I had to look for employment opportunities for 6 years, and only with that education and the experience, I was able to go back home and work for YouthNet as well, and then working with other NGOs and organizations as well. And with this experience, we are able to also implement a lot of programs, CSR programs as well, and other schemes which I will be sharing later. And digital inclusion, bridging the digital divide, is crucial to providing access to information, services, and economic opportunities, especially in remote and underserved areas. For example, when we talk about digital inclusion, I am from the state of Nagaland, in Dimapur, and I can definitely say that internet connectivity or road connectivity is really good, but not as good as Assam. But at least Dimapur, we pride ourselves as a commercial district. However, I have Jio, Airtel, and Vodafone, because if I go to the other remote districts, no one will be able to contact me. So I have 3 numbers. So whenever I give my alternate numbers, people often ask, isn't it a hassle to have 2 phones? I said that if you want to contact me, you need to, because this is the fact, So I'm just one, and then we have over 20 lakh population. So I'm speaking on their behalf as well, that not everyone will have the luxury or the possibility of having, network coverage or internet connectivity everywhere as well. And then financial inclusion, which is improving, yes, in our state as well. But I think we will have to do more, such as banking, credit, and insurance is essential for promoting economic empowerment and reducing poverty in the Northeast region, especially because in the tribal communities, we are exempted from paying income tax as well. So some of our indigenous tribals, they don't understand taxation. And then when we talk about some of the regulatories, they shy away or they shun from even changing the mindset of why financial inclusion, financial literacy, financial management, those kind of awareness programs are so important to all of us. Challenges in the Northeast region. Digital literacy, limited awareness and skills to use digital tools like smartphones, computers, and online platforms. It starts from education, of course. We do have digital literacy sessions, but in schools, since we implemented IBM's STEM for Girls and Ernst & Young STEM App programs, we have noticed that they do have digital classes, but then it is locked when it is not in use. And then they do not let the students even touch a computer, or they are not allowed cell phones, so the students are not aware of how to use certain apps. So if that education is stopped or limited even in the school, then how will we be able to educate to the older generation about digital literacy, especially when it comes to usage of smartphones and online platforms as well? The next will be infrastructure. lack of reliable and high-speed internet connectivity, especially in remote and rural areas of the Northeast region, financial access, lack of banking infrastructure or limited access to financial services in many areas. We do have banks, yes, but in remote districts, they are just regional branches or small branches, sub-branches, but not the main ones. And though there are a lot of financial management sessions, they are only for an hour or two. And there is definitely a gap because when we talk about financial access, the officers or the facilitators or trainers, the resource people, they use a lot of jargon or technical banking terms, and that definitely causes some sort of a disconnect with the indigenous people. Lastly, we definitely have trust issues. Fear of digital fraud and taxation hinders the widespread adoption of digital services and tools. Some of the impact stories that we have witnessed over the years, especially in Nagaland, and I'm sure it is a nationwide as well. Now, it's good to see that our auto rickshaw drivers, they take UPI payments, and this is really a marvelous process, of course, and then we have laborers using UPI, the payments, and we also see our women vendors, street vendors using UPI payments. There are a few villages where, you know, the village vendors, they set up shops by the highway, and then they are not present in the highway, but then they just have a small box for cash, and then they have the UPI scan card. And then during the daytime, they just have to go to the field, but they have their vegetables, fruits, fermented bamboo shoot, you know, the fermented soybean and other crops by the highway, but then they are not present. So that has definitely elevated, you know, the transaction process as well. But I believe that there is a lot more that can be done, especially if the digital infrastructure is definitely improved in all the districts or on all the states as well. And some of the challenges, though there is a lot of improvement in all these, we see that government officers in the region still rely on manual processes, paperwork, a lot of papers, transactions happening from one table, one desk to the other. So we have witnessed that some of the files go missing as well because the process is cumbersome. So I believe that that affects efficiency and transparency as citizens increasingly embrace digital solutions. So key benefits of digital inclusion would be financial empowerment, instant traceable transactions, promote financial literacy, and help individuals better manage their finances, transparency, cashless payment, reduce the opportunities for bribery and corruption, because for us, we have the problem of insurgency in our state as well. So that is challenging for us, creating a more accountable and transparent financial ecosystem. Economic activity, seamless digital payments, foster ease of business, reduce extortion risks, and facilitate smoother economic transactions. And lastly, while we were going through this, I would like to cite the example of Andhra Pradesh Me Seva initiative. I think it's doing the round as well, and if there an officer or someone who could educate us on how the digitized government program could also help our region in improving transparency and efficiency in doing business from this for the citizens of Andhra Pradesh. We could also do it, replicate something similar for the Northeast region. Risks to address for us would be taxation fear, income tax notices, like I mentioned, to small vendors create resistance to digital adoption. And then infrastructure gaps, digital inclusion must ensure adequate internet and mobile banking services in remote areas. How do we strengthen the digital infrastructure? Expand 4G, 5G coverage, leverage satellite internet. That is aspirational for us. And then local data centers. I believe we definitely acknowledge the presence of MIT, STPI, and one data center that will be operational in Guwahati. I believe that that is one, but there are 8 states in the Northeast region, so I believe more data centers in our Northeast region would definitely benefit the region, and then enhance the data security for us all. How do we build a digital and financial literacy ecosystem? community training programs. So organized workshop in local languages. In the state of Nagaland, there are 17 districts, which means 17 dialects. So even if I speak in English or Nagami, some of them, they will not even understand if I go to remote places as well. So I believe that engaging local NGOs, engaging established SSGs from the region, or the local people, I believe will definitely benefit community training programs and then bridge the gap as well. And use the train-the-trainer models. So empower local leaders, self-help groups, and non-government organizations to spread digital and financial awareness in their communities. How do we promote inclusive financial products? So tailored microloans and saving products, low-cost agriculture and small enterprise insurance, a public-private fintech partnership, and then subsidized smartphone and digital wallets. Digitizing governance and public services. I believe there was, we touched upon land resources. For us, indigenous people, we own land. So I believe that digitizing land resources could also expedite or speed up some of the development projects. A modernized tax system, a unified digital governance portal, and direct benefit transfers. Cashless ecosystem, offer discounts or cashback for digital transactions, because currently the banks, they definitely use, they take a certain percentage for all the transactions. So I believe that if there are discounts or cashback offers, I believe that will also allow more people to embrace cashless transactions. Recognize and reward cashless small businesses and create e-commerce platform for local goods. From our experience, when we, in partnership with NABARD, when we worked on onboarding SSGs and local entrepreneurs on the ONDC platform as well, some of the entrepreneurs, yes, they took the workshop really well. However, there was feedback saying that it is better to sell their products online through Amazon or Flipkart, because customer addressal and the user interface is much better, easier. So that is the feedback that was shared, and I think that through our experience with Amazon Saheli, which we are facilitating in partnership with Global Alliance for Mass Entrepreneurship, I believe that there is a lot of scope, and the previous panelists they have also mentioned that only a small percentage, 20% of the entrepreneurs embrace e-commerce platform to promote their products or businesses. I think the time is up, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Nuni. I'm quite sure she has given a lot of ideas and a lot of information about what all things can be done. I would just like to inform you that from our NABARD side, under the Financial Inclusion Fund that we operate, we support for BSETs and things like that, which can give connectivity in remote areas. So that is one part that is already facilities available. It's for banks to take. And like you had flagged, there will be definitely policy action on this. Sir is here. Our DMD sir is also there. Definitely there will be some more intervention required. We'll be able to go ahead. When she was speaking about digital payment, how it has spread, I was in Tripura, and then now I presently working in Assam. In 22, when I went to Tripura at first week of May, I carried some 20,000 rupees. So I came back to the place of my previous posting somewhere around end of July. So after I came back, then only I realized all this period I spent only 500 rupees for cash, all through and everything, only by using the digital means. So that is also something that shows development has actually taken place in Northeast pretty well. There will be pockets. So those pockets needs to be addressed. Thank you, sir. So now we proceed towards Mr. B.K. Sohliya. And from him we would like to hear about bringing investments to the Northeast, especially the private investments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Das, and a very good afternoon. I think, yes, a very good afternoon to everyone and our respected chief guest, Secretary Donna, my fellow panelists, and everyone that's on this, attending this conversation. The topic that was requested of me is actually a very vast topic, and I'll try and do justice because I think within this limited time it's perhaps difficult to actually touch on all the points that will attract in private sector investments into the Northeast. So what I'm going to do is, my job has been made easier actually because the previous speakers have covered most of what I was about to say, so I'll not spend too much time on them. So I'm going to talk about few key things. And one thing I would like to highlight, since I'm the chairman of the Farmers Commission, which is perhaps the only statutory Farmers Commission in the country. Decision was taken by government of Meghalaya in 2019 to set up a Farmers Commission, which was we are primarily mandated to look at the gaps and address those issues that have fallen in between the cracks for farmers. There are so many of them. I'll not touch on all of them because that's not the topic for today. But suffice it to say that coming from both an agriculture as well as an agribusiness background, and having been the director of the Institute of Enterprise for Meghalaya, which is probably one of the very first enterprise ecosystem creators in the Northeast, I would like to spend more time on this particular topic, which is number one, where we look at 70% to 80% of the population of the Northeast are agrarian, and out of those 35 to 45% are youths. This to us is a worrying figure, because why? We are looking at a demographic that is energetic, that is educated, that is aspirational, yet is not finding a way out to express or achieve the aspirations. Many issues are there. There have been a lot of debates on this. And of course, the infrastructure deficiencies, which has been spoken of by the other speakers. I'll not go into detail for that. Everyone knows the abundance of resources, especially in hydropower potential, which is a prime area of investment. And of course, the barriers for private sector investment into the Northeast, there are many. And as compared to, say, the scenario some 10 years back, I would say that today's scenario is vastly different. We are seeing more and more private sector players come into the Northeast, whether they are from the Northeast or even from outside the Northeast. We are seeing this openness to welcoming investors into the Northeast. And I think tourism has a lot to do with that. And that's one of the highlights actually which I would like to flag, that tourism is also a great democratizer. It facilitates exchange of ideas. It facilitates people-to-people interaction, which also breaks down social and communication barriers. And besides agriculture, I think that tourism is one of the major interventions for the Northeast that can affect almost every segment of society, right from the person selling, street food or snacks on the street, to high-end tourism like Gulf tourism, wine tourism, resorts. It affects everyone. So that being said, I have just tried to break down these strategies into short, medium, and long term. And I think top of the agenda is the political stability. For any kind of investment to happen into any state, that state has to be stable. The political and governance system has to be seen to be stable. Not only be stable, to be seen to be stable. So visibility is important. And that's where, you know, a lot of roadshows, which Secretary had talked about, a lot of reaching out, outreach programs is so important. Because investors are not going to come searching. We have to go and search for them. Therefore, the first step has to be taken by the Northeast. If we are to attract even entrepreneurs and investments from within the Northeast. Tribal councils, the Northeast, many of the Northeast states are dominated or have, some of them fall under the 6th schedule. We have the district councils, we have the tribal councils, which have immense power over land, minerals, natural resources. Many times you have seen projects fail because they simply have not taken into account or taken into confidence these councils, and they can be very big stumbling blocks. Therefore, we are seeing this transition happening slowly, and I'm talking especially with reference to Meghalaya, where we are seeing the convergence of ideas between state governments and district councils. Even at times when they are opposing parties in the district council and the state government, there is still, I think maybe because leaders are much more educated, we have younger leaders and politicians coming into politics, there is that realization of working for the common good. It's happening slowly, but it's happening. Therefore, it's important. And in the Northeast also, there are a lot of NGOs, there are a lot of FPCs, and I know SCSGs have been created by different departments. Including them into the development plan, including them into any kind of project that is happening, is so important because many NGOs are also pressure groups. And in the social fabric of the Northeast, where clan relationships are very important, where sometimes even clan relationships take precedence over developmental imperatives, it is so important to bring these people on board. Because sometimes the lack of communication, the lack of understanding of what one intends to do, also creates public resistance. So that's important. And I think this is one of the critical things that, as a government, we need to, to focus more upon. Infrastructure, without doubt, everyone has been talking about it. We know it's important, and we know that connectivity brings progress, brings development. Power supply, when we talk about industries, when we talk about whether it be service or digital or even processing, power is so critical. And the power scenario in the Northeast, especially in the villages, is sometimes good, most of the time bad, where you have about 2 to 3 hours of power. So a small unit, say for example, making, say, juices, can run only for 3 hours. So therefore, alternative power sources, hydropower, solar, wind, and also investments into hydropower, because that's why I flagged that 43% of the hydropower potential for the country is in the Northeast. We need to invest in that. And of course, the business environment, strengthening investor confidence, processes, etc. These are so important, and we'll touch on them very briefly. So single window, many of the states have single window agencies, but sometimes and many a times these single window agencies take so long to approve projects that the investor or the promoter himself or herself loses interest. Number one, costs go up. Therefore, time-bound single window clearances is important, because that sends out a clear message to investor that this is a state that is serious about inviting investments. Digitization of processes, so important. Nune has spoken about it. And then you have, because again, Northeast, most of the Northeastern states do not have a manufacturing base. In fact, Dr. Sharma, he spoke about the packaging. And we have seen that the issue in the Northeast is a double freight, where packaging material has to come in from outside and products have to move outside. Therefore, you're paying double for the same packaging. That, I think, is an area that is potentially an investment area for anyone to invest into a packaging facility or creation of a packaging facility in the Northeast. We're talking about GI. We were talking about it just before the conference also, that we have a lot of GI products, a lot of organic certified products, but then these products need to be, there has to be traceability. And the previous speakers have highlighted about how traceability is being done. The agriculture and land policy, that needs also review because a lot of land is held in private hands. Therefore, and again, many of the states have very strict laws on the alienation of land. So therefore, we need to look at alternative models because again, if I'm an investor and I want to invest some couple of crores into a business, I need security of my investment also, and land is one of the best forms of security. So we need to look at those. When we look at medium strategies, we're looking at what? We're looking at empowering youth in agriculture. That's, I think, important because this population, 45% of this population, is a population that has serious social issues for us maybe in the next 10 to 15 years if we are not able to channelize their energies, their ambitions, their dreams. That's why it's important that banks like NABARD and organizations working in this space need to actually now start rethinking and retweaking many of the things that already are available on the table. Human capital, Noni spoke about the taxation. In fact, the problem is that what we have found is that many entrepreneurs have started, they've gone on, and then when the time comes for them to do a GST registration, many simply refuse to grow. They said, I'm happy with whatever I am making, less than 20 lakhs. I don't want to go for GST registration because, they get tax notices, filing returns. Many of them are totally ignorant. So therefore, that is one sector that I think in the skilling programs, we need to talk to people about taxation. We need to talk to them and teach them. That's something that I think it's a very, very important step if we are to scale these micro entrepreneurs. Dr. Sharma spoke about the micro entrepreneurs and said a majority of them are micro. Yes, I agree. How do we scale them up? How do we scale them up so that they become attractive for investors to come in, whether in terms of equity, in terms of venture capital? Okay, we talk about alternate investment funding, but then alternate investment funding can only come if there is an entity that is marketable or economically and financially viable. So the startup ecosystem, tourism promotion, Dr. Goswami talked about it. I think that is where Northeast has a lot of advantages. Just a small case I'll cite from Meghalaya in 2024. Between March to December, the tourist inflow jumped from 3 lakhs to 12 lakhs, which is a very good indicator. But then again, the infrastructure has to be scaled up to meet that kind of traffic. Incentivizing tax benefits, I think a lot of people still do not know. Maybe when we talk about tax benefits, maybe the various sections available for private investors where they can get exemptions or even tax holidays. That education also needs to be brought out to people. A lot of skilling programs talk about skilling people. Talk about skilling people in various activities, whether it's food processing or digital services, hospitality. Very few skilling programs I have seen talk about tax. Very few skilling programs talk about how to actually scale or maybe even read a P&L statement. Very few skilling programs talk about, okay, how do you access or even use startup funds? So therefore, that financial literacy has to, there has been added dimension to financial literacy. It's not only about knowing how to bank and how to use money, but also how to deal with this modern ecosystem of business that we have now in the country. So therefore, I would say that very quickly, I've highlighted things like IDEA and the Startup India. These schemes need to be highlighted more. AgriSure of NABARD. I asked, in fact, I call up many of the departmental officers and I asked them about AgriShare. Nobody's ever heard of it. But it is an alternate investment fund. And it is created for agri-startups. We should be actually spreading this message out more. We talk about Agricultural Infrastructure Fund. If you look at the numbers, Assam is the highest user of AIF at 3%. Other states, 0. Meghalaya is at 2. But this fund is there. And let me tell you that at 6% interest with CGT, SME, MSE guarantees, collateral-free loans, there is no other, at least to me, I have not found any other scheme that gives you that kind of benefit. It is a huge, huge potential which we are not taking advantage of. Because why? The education, the awareness is still lacking. So we talk about FPC strengthening. But then again, there is the 10,000 FPC scheme. But then the CEOs are ignorant. The CEOs do not know. They have not been trained in corporate governance. The CBBOs also are clueless. In fact, last year I had conducted a review of the 10,000 FPO schemes, and we found that a majority of the CBBOs actually had no idea what they were supposed to do. It's only very few like NERAMAC, NABARD, that actually had the CBBOs who had idea of how to train. But then again, we had CEOs who did not know how to run the businesses, and then we had people who have not, we had FPCs who have not progressed beyond the grant stage. That needs to change, and that can only happen through skilling. So, midterm, of course, I'm talking about, have we done that? What I would like to say is that a couple of things. Tax benefits, people need to know about them. 80 IC, 80 IAB, then Section 35 of the Income Tax Act. There are so many other benefits. Investors, I have seen many investors have come to us, but they are not aware of this. I think that investor awareness also needs to be done, even within the Northeast and even outside the Northeast. Then, of course, Unati is there, then your PM Divine schemes are there for your infrastructure, Unati for your private businesses. Again, these schemes are not being highlighted enough, I think. There are various agencies working on this, but then I think a coordinated effort is not there because, like for example, we have NERAMAC, we have NETFI, we have APIDA, we have IIFPT, we have NECTA. But sometimes when we have these meetings, we find that one agency does not know what the other agency is doing. And that is worrying because why? There's so much out there, but we are not able to tap it because we do not know where it is or who's dealing with it. Our entrepreneurs are even more clueless than us. Even we don't know, so what do you expect of entrepreneurs? We need to actually get our act together. Long term, of course, these are infrastructure, regional trade and cooperation, export promotion, sustainable growth, marketing and branding, which people had spoken about. Again, a lot of education is required. A lot of these long-term strategies need to be implemented by state governments. And there is a need for dialogue. And I'm happy to say that almost all of the Northeastern states, the startup ecosystem has grown. In fact, when we first started in Meghalaya, the word entrepreneurship was sort of a dirty word in government because government didn't want to talk to entrepreneurs, to private sector, and private sector thought that government was a bunch of thieves. But the climate has changed. Now, we realize that if we are to take Northeast forward, there's only a certain amount or limit that government can do. It is private sector that has to take it forward, and private sector from within the Northeast. We have to train, we have to groom our entrepreneurs to face these challenges. Therefore, the PPP opportunities, agriculture, infrastructure, renewable energy, tourism and hospitality, the people have spoken about it. IT and ITS, one of the fastest growing sectors because of the literacy rates in the Northeast. Education and skill development, that is again another area that private sector can really invest in and be profitable, of course. Emerging sectors, textiles and apparels, the Northeast has huge amounts of banana, pineapple, rami. Natural fibers is now emerging. Organics. Technology is there. And one thing I would like to say here is that there's a lot of technology that's out there in the world. But that technology is not permeating to the Northeast. Why? Because there is that industry, enterprise, technology, and the ecosystem matchmaking is still missing. So what I had proposed in the Indian Institute of Sciences, I said that instead of entrepreneurs pitching to banks, why not our research institutions, our universities, our development agencies pitch to entrepreneurs? Sell the ideas that this is a technology I have developed. Is there any entrepreneur out there who's ready to buy and ready to implement it? Take the technology to the people. We have huge amounts of knowledge in our universities, which is not reaching to the people. That connect has to be made now. And therefore, textiles, natural fibers, pharmaceuticals emerging. Northeast is a hot spot for medicinal plants, many of which the research has been done but is locked up in these theses, is locked up in these research papers. We need to unlock those. And of course, fruit wines and tourism, I think Dr. Goswami was talking about kiwi and how kiwi was being spoiled. Fruit wines can actually take care of that wastage. Fruit wines can actually increase the incomes of farmers. We have seen farmers' incomes jump from 30,000 a season to close to 4 lakhs a season because of winemaking. And therefore, it takes care of that, of the wastage in the supply chain. It also enhances farmers' incomes. It also provides enterprise opportunities for entrepreneurs and winemakers. And another thing I would like to point out here is that in the Northeast, we have a tendency as government, when we find a farmer who is progressive, we tend to load more and more upon him until the farmer simply gives up and says, I can't do it anymore. I think it's time we de-skill. We start a process of de-skilling. Farmers who are good should continue farming. They should be better and made and trained and helped to become better producers. Processing should be left to someone else, so we create employment in the value chain. We create opportunities in the value chain. And lastly, I would like to end with a few images. This is our winery, which the commission, we had set up a winery. It's India's first model winery for training winemakers of the entire Northeast. We have trained more than 170 winemakers. We have certified them. Meghalaya has 17 wineries, the second largest number of wineries in the country next to Himachal. Because our objective is we have seen the kind of impact that fruit wines can have on farmers' lives, on entrepreneurs, on the economy. And we aim to make Meghalaya the fruit wine capital of the country, just like Nasik is the grape wine capital of the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Sohliya ji. It was a bit long, but very important aspects that you have flagged. So now I would request Mr. Mark to discuss about the whole story that we have allocated to him, please.
Respected Secretary, sir, our moderator and other dignitaries on the panel, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. My slide will not be that long. A few experiences which I have, I'll be sharing it to you. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank NABARD for giving me such an opportunity to stand in front of you and to stand before you, to share some of the stories which I have in the past few years, from the past few years, So my topic, which I'll be focusing upon, is upskilling Northeast entrepreneurs to scale local enterprises. And I felt that this is one of the toughest thing since the journey which I've started since 2017. So I left my job in 2017 trying to become a social entrepreneur in the Northeast and helping farmers and develop livelihood. But this is the only topic where we still fail till today, and I'm really sad to say that this is not I'm not going to share some success stories, but I'm going to share some hurdles which I have on this topic. So basically, scaling is something which is really difficult, as already mentioned before by Mr. Sharma, that micro enterprises are are the most in Northeast. And even for that sake, I mean, in fact, Mizoram, also I'll be talking about my state, Mizoram, we have 99.8% micro enterprises, and the rest of them are like small and medium enterprises. So almost all businesses falls under the MSME category. So so scaling is something which is very difficult, and we still face a lot of problems. So during this journey, like in 2017, so we have experience, farmers. We help farmers, reaching out to different part of the market by simply changing packaging, changing branding. We, we convert some of the, fields into better, tea gardens, something like that, and branding as well. So we help farmers in branding. We help, simple, grading. With simple grading and packaging, we change, the way farmers market their product, like if you've seen as you have seen in this picture. So the issue which, this is going to be only my perspective. It's not going to be the whole Northeast perspective. I've seen Netfi doing research on skill gap in the Northeast. I've seen many other research as well about skill gap. But from our experience in Mizoram, we have seen two types of skills which are always coming into play: the technical skills and the management skills. And we have a lot of technical skills by the government, which is implemented by the government, especially the departments which we work with in Mizoram. Basically, all give stressed upon technical skills. And when we talk about something, I'm not going to talk about entrepreneurs who are scaling or who are at that hi-fi level. When we talk about local enterprises and the primary, the primary sector, we really felt that the need of this management skill, the gap of there's a huge gap in the part of management, and these are some of the skills which we really feel is important that we should also stress upon. And if we look at these skills, these are all entrepreneurial skills. And being a CBB being a CBB under NABARD as well, our organization being a CBB under NABARD, we have implemented with Mizoram Regional Office. Although the scheme guidelines are stringent, but we talk to the GMs and of NABARD, and we jointly talk about this upskilling of the farmers, and as well as the farmers, as well as the entrepreneurs. So we somehow come to a conclusion that these entrepreneurial skills are really important for the farmers. But however, the farmers it's really difficult for the farmers to understand all these managerial skills. So what we have done instead is that we try to combine entrepreneurs and farmers and group them into one. So this is how an experience which we have in Mizoram for two FPOs. They are also showcase some of their products in the in the exhibition area. So we identify entrepreneurs who are enthusiasts about promoting livelihood as well as promoting their products, and we somehow connect them to the farmers, and we make these entrepreneurs the CEO of the FPO instead of searching for the different CEO with management degree and this and that. But instead we found some few entrepreneurs, and we see them and we groom them, and we somehow incubate the FPOs as a startup. So it works pretty well, and this is this is the one which I try to explain. So we link these farmers and entrepreneurs, and for entrepreneurs it's much more easier to develop. I mean, to grab more and to learn more skills. But for the farmers, it's really difficult to learn those managerial skills. So when these entrepreneurs learn managerial skills as well as their normal entrepreneurial capacity, with the farmers coming into play with the production. So all these three combined, we try to we try to work with the government we try to work with the agriculture department, we try to work with the last day department for skilling them, and also we work closely with the MSME, the MSME cell in Mizoram. So it's like a collaborative effort in which we try to develop the whole ecosystem. We are not successful yet, but it's showing good result. So this is something which I really want to present in front of you. And also apart from this, as Nune told already, I would like to also share some of the success, some of the good practice which we have, some of the few good practice, like the skill development at the public school, the school level. We have done that by developing Tili entrepreneurial mindset curriculum, which is a pilot project under Samagra Shiksha. And we started off as a pilot project in 9 public schools, and it's working out quite well. And also we have developed a local level Shark Tank like ecosystem in which Shark Tank like show. I will not mention the name because it's quite difficult. We name it so and then, but however we try to involve the community, we try to involve the government, we try to involve the financial institutions and banks, as well as the incubator and other relevant stakeholders. And when they came together, we also include FPOs to pitch in front of these people. And in that way, we secure some kind of funding, private funding, financial, debt funding as well. And it's somehow working out, and some FPOs started to scale. Right now also we have some few FPOs who pitch on that platform and started to scale. And when this FPO again went to the bank for further credit, more credit, they are well known in the show. So that makes it easier for the FPOs as well to secure more funding. So another good practice which we have done is that we create a common brand. We are still at a very nascent stage in Mizoram, but we create a common brand and a common platform in which we collaborate with retailers like Reliance Fresh Pick, and in which they will be selling some of our products from the local level. But still, scaling part, we are not talking about economies of scale, but we're talking about more value addition, higher and more premium products. So this kind of thing, we target retailers who sell it to the premium market, not at the economies of scale level. And third, lastly, the convergence. Lastly, what I want to share in front of the crowd is that it will always be a convergence which will lead us to a successful story. That's what we believe. And convergence, we really felt that convergence is necessary. And I can only mention one example. There are many examples which we have done, but I can gladly share you one example which we have done in Mizoram. The government of Mizoram is implementing its flagship program, which is called the hand-holding policy, under which we target at least 500 entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, MSMEs, who will be availing loans under priority lending sector. And these entrepreneurs will be availing these loans at a 100% coverage, guarantee coverage under CGTMSE scheme and the fund from the government. So it's like 85% was covered by the CGTMSE, the Credit Guarantee Trust, and the remaining fund was given by the government of Mizoram. 15% again was coverage from the government. So when there is two convergence from the government of Mizoram and as well as the ministry, the CGTMSE, I should say, the entrepreneurs gladly the entrepreneurs can avail riskless loan, I should say 100% guarantee loan from the scheme. So with this, I would like to conclude my topic. So the last thing which I want to tell is again, from the previous speaker, convergence is something which we felt at utmost necessary, like the PMKVY schemes coming up, and the IE as well. There are many entrepreneurship development schemes coming up, entrepreneurship development, skill development schemes from the MSME. So there are many schemes, but it's not converging to one scheme. So we really find it difficult. As an entrepreneur myself, I also find it difficult to see which route should we take, and which and also these. And we really felt, as an entrepreneur, we really felt that there is a necessity that all these, the ministries or all these people who are into skilling and upskilling should come together. Not only, and we have many ministries which have skilling. Like we have we have Ministry of this skill development and entrepreneurship. We have Ministry of MSME, which have a separate skill development, and we have also agriculture, who have a separate skill development again. So if they can come together and work together in upskilling, I think it will be much more crucial and much more impactful in the Northeast. So I thank you for this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. It was really very kind of thought-provoking kind of a discussions by all the panelists. Thank you. Sir, I would like to come to you after some time. First, a little bit of rapid fire kind of a thing, one minute, because already we have, extended a bit. So I would like to ask Dr. Goswami about, because we were discussing about infrastructure, but I think marketing is one aspect that we should give more importance. What do you say?
Yeah, actually, market infrastructure is one of the important aspects. But in the changing environment, along with digital marketing, relationship marketing, so dynamics of market is also changing. So more and more digitization means market is going to change. But what is, I feel, more important is proper market survey is missing in most of the product when we are bringing into market, because depending upon location, depending upon whether it is a high-end consumer or other kind of consumer, whether it is a male or female, depending upon age, so product may change. Sometimes it may be a plastic bottle, some product may be packed, sometimes it may be a glass bottle. So if your consumers are high-end consumer, ready to afford more money, more health conscious, they might be prefer for a glass bottle, that kind of thing. But those who are not in a position to afford much, they may go for even plastic bottle also. So serious market survey is mostly missing. Our entrepreneurs start a business, after that they find it difficult to sell, ultimately there is a failure. Thank you.
So it's like find out what a person wants to eat and then provide that. It's almost lunchtime. Dr. Sharma, what is one point of emphasis, very shortly, maybe 1 or 2 sentences, for entrepreneurship development in Northeast?
Sir, I think there are although several dimensions on which we need to work, but if you are asking me about one thing, I would say one basic thing that we need to do is that we need to create entrepreneurial mindsets among the communities, among students, among college students. They need to understand that there are limited opportunities in the government machinery. They will have to anyway start something on their own. The sooner they start, the better it is. And that is why we are now trying to focus on the schools also, that this entrepreneurial education should culminate from schools to colleges, and the mindset needs to be developed. That is one thing I think is most crucial as of now. Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very rightly said, and I think it's one of the very important points. It also is a pointer towards what NABARD should also take up, and all other institutions. So, Madam Nuni, from you, I would just like to hear about what is it that you feel like saying now after hearing to everyone? Very short point.
Okay, I'll end on a positive note. I'm truly grateful to the startup ecosystem, since we were talking about it as well, because entrepreneurship, we want people to aspire for bigger things. We are simple-minded. We are very simple, modest people, but we want them to aspire more as well. And then why not compete with the mainland and say that, oh, we are from the Northeast, so we are happy with whatever we are doing at the moment. That is not the dream that we want the future to look forward to or work towards. So today I would like to take this opportunity to thank a lot of programs that are working successfully, especially starting from DPIIT Startup India, because YouthNet, we have received the Startup India Seed Funding Scheme, and with that we are a 3.5-year-old incubator, and then we have more than 200 entrepreneurs who are registered with us. However, they were not willing to register their companies or their enterprises. But after getting the support from SISF, DPIIT, and educating them, it took us about 6 months or so to educate them on the importance of startup private limited company. And then in 3 months, we were able to register more than 20 private limited companies, and then 13 trademark as well. So these take time, but we are truly grateful. And we are. I would also like to acknowledge the initiative of Ministry of MIT for the Genesis scheme. We are also one of the implementing agencies this year. So we are also looking forward to it. And these kind of structured programs will definitely encourage and empower more people towards educating themselves, towards embracing technology, embracing digital or financial literacy as well, for more streamlined process, and the ease of doing business will gradually improve. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sohliya ji, I would just like to ask you in 2 sentences, suppose, in 2 sentences, you need to kind of tell us as to how do we bring we means all of us coming together, or how do we bring everyone together? Because you were indicating about so many organizations and so many ministries, so many departments have to come together. Everyone is working in silos. So how do you think we should do that, and who should basically lead that particular initiative? 2 sentences, please. Thank you.
Long or short?
Huh? Medium.
Okay. I think Donna should lead, because it has the mandate, it also has the reach. And I think it's time that we have, see, the NEC is there, but I think NEC has to also be empowered. And there is this, of course, when we talk about private sector investments, investor confidence, building up investor confidence is so important. And therefore, an organization like DONA, NEC, and the various central government agencies, as well as also the state governments, have to get together on a common platform.
Yeah. Thank you. So, Mark, what is the mark you want to make now? What is it that you want to emphasize at this point? Marking the mark. Yeah.
Okay. See, actually, like what Nune have told, I would really like to end it with a positive note and a positive mark. See, I'm only standing. I mean, not that being successful, but I'm only standing in front of the crowd today because of some initiative, a good initiative from organization like NABARD, which has schemes like Poppy schemes and all the other schemes. So I think given a platform, we can succeed. I mean, entrepreneurs or any rural entrepreneurs from the Northeast would definitely reach to that level given a platform. But that's what we need. That platform is what we need, and I think we should create more platform, not only in Delhi but in the Northeast level. In the Northeast level, where we can reach out to more number of people, and where more number of people can listen to and hear to the agenda.
Thank you, Mark. Now I would like to request, sir, for your kind comments now, based on the discussions and what you think we all agencies should come together and do. Like,
Thank you. It was very interesting to listen to all the panelists. Very valid observations. Let me tell you one thing. When this was the national average in terms of economic growth, economic prosperity, GDP state, we started from here in Northeastern region. In 10 years, we have come up to this point. If you see the incremental change in terms of all parameters, whether it is fiscal parameter, financial parameters, in terms of the ecosystem, for industrial growth, for entrepreneurs, for fintech, everything we have achieved much. But the fact remains that we are still at slightly below the national average. As I said, population is 4%, but the contribution to GDP growth, to GDP is 2.9%. We should not discount the fact that tremendous change has come. Now the stage is set for growth story part 2. As I said, as many have pointed out, many interesting and valid observations were there. What we did, different states have different USPs. You cannot have the same policy prescription for all the states. So we had SWOT analysis, detailed analysis of all the 8 states vis-a-vis other states in the Northeastern region, vis-a-vis its comparative advantages and disadvantages with other states of the country, and vis-a-vis the situation with the neighboring countries. Based on that, we had short-term, long-term, and medium-term recommendations for various sectors, whether it is health sector, IT, ITES, education, infrastructure, investment scenario, textile. And this strategy paper or roadmap we shared with the state government. So we, minister and the entire donor team went to the state, discussed this with the state government, chief minister, chief secretary, and the entire team of officials. And then now we are trying to converge our concerns. So we have said that you can add, delete, modify this paper, and that becomes the common roadmap for that particular state. And once that roadmap is there, it has various schemes, various recommendations pertaining to different ministries of Government of India. So then we commonly will approach the concerned ministry for achieving that target. So this is our stand, and this is what we are going through. We have already, on a couple of issues, we have taken up with the concerned ministry, and we have seen there are very positive changes. So what we are saying is, the roadmap, the strategy is clear to us. We are trying to have a whole of the government approach so far as NER concerned. We are talking to all the ministries, trying to see what are the deficiencies, what are the incremental changes we might prescribe in keeping with the requirements of the Northeastern states. Can we tweak the existing policy? We are also doing policy advocacy for the Northeastern states in terms of any policy that comes. So we are a single point where we take the view of all the states and present it before the government as a whole of government approach. So these things are happening, and whatever points have been raised, we are cognizant of the fact that yes, many changes have to be done, but I will end by saying that Northeast is prepared to make all these attitudinal changes, to accept the new policy regime that is coming, to accept the challenges that is coming, and to tackle it. All the states are geared up. They have the capacity to deal with all situations. People talked about capacity building. Now we are fortunate. We have talked to officials. We know that officials of the state government have recognized what are the deficiencies, what are the problems, and what are the best practices that others have done for the similar problems. So this is a very positive situation. I hope we'll be able to achieve, when we talk about Viksit Bharat, we talk about Viksit Northeast, the goals that are there before us, we are addressing those concern issues to reach that goal, and I'm very hopeful that we'll achieve in the due time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we are almost ending on a very, very positive note. And if sir allows, maybe we can open for 1 or 2 very, very short questions. Yeah. So 1 or 2 very, very short questions. Again, I am flagging it. 1 sentence. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Gorangi. I'm a final year law student from Symbiosis Law School, Pune. Thank you for this deeply enriching and valuable session. My question is simply that in areas such as the Northeast region, which is resource heavy but underserved, a bid for inviting development and economic stimulation often ends up following an extraction based model, where you take the resources, you use the labor, but those profits and that sustainable use of resources does not go to the people. What is being done in the same bids for inviting entrepreneurship to make the vehicle of growth for the people instead of from them?
The question is for whom? It's for all of us together or
Across.
all the panelists or?
All the panelists, but since most of the bids were for entrepreneurship, my question is targeted towards Shri Chanchal Kumar sir and on a policy level.
Okay.
So I'll talk about the policy level itself. When we talk about the prevailing situation in Northeast, there are a couple of things. One is the territorial challenges that comes with it. Hilly terrains, when you are talking about any investment in road sector, you know the challenges it comes. The challenges of technology, soil stabilization, slope sliding, landslides. People raised a couple of issues of disruption in connectivity even after you have invested so much of amount. So we are very sure that unless and until that sustainability is built into the policy prescription, it won't be a long-lasting solution. So any solution, whether it is in sector A, sector B, sector C, any policy that we have for Northeast, unless and until it takes care of the fact that local biodiversity, local ecotourism aspect, cultural heritage, tribal way of life, the rich mineral and other resources that we have, unless those are preserved or they are exploited in a very, very sustainable manner, if that is not there, we'll not take up that solution. Let it be very clear that sustainability is very, very important. Not only from a conceptual point of view, from a physical point of view, it is not sustainable. You make something, you make a very heavy road infrastructure project in a hilly terrain, and you'll find that landslides have started increasing. So there has to be a balance between what is your requirement, what is your demand, how much we can tackle. So if you start, for example, in tourism sector, if you start saying that we are aiming to get 50 lakh tourists in a place which is capable of handling only 10 lakh, then that 5 times extra load on the earth, Mother Earth, will not be a sustainable one. So there has to be a conscious decision how much physical infrastructure for hospitality sector has to be there. You can't have 200 hotels coming up in a small area of 5 kilometer by 5 kilometer. It's not feasible, it's not required, it's not desirable. It should not be done, period. So I'm taking only one example, but as a framework, rest assured, sustainability is top of the issue whenever any solution is thought of. So when we are talking about medium-term, short-term, long-term recommendations for any sectoral policy, that is built into it. So that part I can make you believe.
Thank you, sir. Any more?
Sir.
Maharaj.
Sir.
No. Maharaj he placed his hand in front of before everyone. So, sir, please. Yeah.
May I?
सर मे आए सभी को नमस्कार और नाबार्ड को थैंक यू कि ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दिया गया. सर नॉर्थ ईस्ट को कनेक्ट करते हुए मैं कुछ बस्तर छत्तीसगढ़ की बात रखना चाहती हूँ. क्या मुझे परमिशन है? सर जब मैं आसाम गई थी तो वहाँ पे मैंने देखा था कि जैसे टेक्सटाइल्स की आपने बात की तो वो उसमें ताना और बाना जो यूज़ होता है. सर ताना को बनाने के लिए आज भी नॉर्थ ईस्ट में वही पुरानी टेक्निक्स है जिसकी वजह से कॉस्ट प्राइस बढ़ जाता है और मार्केट में हम कहीं ना कहीं कंपटीशन नहीं कर पाते हैं. सेम प्रॉब्लम सर बस्तर में है. जैसे कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में आप लोगों ने इतना ध्यान दिया है, ये रिक्वेस्ट है सर कि आज मुझे ये मौका मिला कि मिनिस्ट्री तक बात पहुंचा पाऊँ. सर बस्तर का जो कुकुन है वो भी वर्ल्ड में कहीं नहीं मिलता है, एक जो रैली कुकुन है. लेकिन सर सिर्फ वो ऐसा हो रहा है कि बस्तर से बाहर निकल कर चीज़ें हो रही हैं पर बस्तर में नहीं हो रही है. और कहीं ना कहीं वही ताना और बाना में हम आ जाते हैं कि जो ताना है सर कोरियन सिल्क इंपोर्ट हो रहा है क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ न्यू टेक्निक्स नहीं बनाई जाती है. तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो हम ट्रेडिशनल चीज़ों को वहाँ पे ख़त्म होता जा रहा है। जैसा कि सर ने कहा कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के लिए स्कूल और कॉलेजेस में होना चाहिए। सर बस्तर में ये बहुत प्रॉब्लम है एजुकेशन और सारी चीज़ों को लेके। तो जो मैंने जितने भी पैनलिस्ट की बात सुनी आप सभी की, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं वो सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हम रिलेट करते हैं बस्तर में। तो सर आज मैं यहाँ पे सभी सम्माननीय बैठे हुए हैं, तो आप सबसे से एक रिक्वेस्ट करना चाह रही हूँ कि थोड़ा सा इनिशिएटिव बस्तर के लिए दिया जाए, क्योंकि सब गवर्नमेंट जब युद्ध स्तर पर काम करती है ना, तो यूपीआई जैसी चीज़ें भी काम करती हैं। सर हमारे बस्तर में ऐसी ग्रामीण महिलाएं जो नाम लिखना नहीं जानती हैं, बट आज वो फ़ोन पे यूज़ कर रही हैं।
धन्यवाद, आपने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा। वैसे तो ये
Thank you.
उत्तर पूर्वी क्षेत्र विकास मंत्रालय और हमारे इस पैनल डिस्कशन के बाहर का विषय है,
जी, जी।
लेकिन आपने जो कहा है हम उसको ग्रहण करते हैं और मैं स्वयं सचिव वस्त्र मंत्रालय नीलम जी से बात कर लूँगा। वो मध्य प्रदेश और बस्तर काडर की ही हैं, मध्य प्रदेश काडर की हैं, पहले तो छत्तीसगढ़ उसी का अंग था, तो मैं उनसे आपकी बात कर लूँगा। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा नाबार्ड के अधिकारियों से कि इसके बाद आपसे स्पेसिफिक जो आपके सुझाव हैं, विशेष सुझाव हैं, वो बता दें। मैं खुद लेकर वो सचिव वस्त्र मंत्रालय भारत सरकार से बात कर लूँगा आपके हित में।
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir. Please.
Good afternoon. Thanks for letting me talk. My name is Swami Suryanil. We are working at the grassroots across 16 states, particularly 8 in the Northeast. We have a center in Sikkim since 2010, Center for Entrepreneurship Development. Within STPI, we are doing. There are challenges everywhere. We know things have improved a lot. Last 10 years, things have gone. Two things I want to address, which we are trying to address. One is that branding. So we have created a company called nagasilk.com, okay, in Nagaland. And we are working with the Sericulture department for the last 1 year. When I was there for the G20 summit, we engaged with it. I was in a trip to Europe to sell their product. We created, so the product development could not be done there. It was done by a Delhi company, which is part of a board, to sell the products made of Aries silk at the high ends to the top, fashion designers in Germany and France. And now we are engaging. So, it has to be done, branding with a very focused, the whole region. The challenges we are facing is that Aries silk, when we went to the Sericulture department, we told that there are tons of cocoons in the cocoon bank. And when you want to go in depths of it, we see only a few people, doing the culture. So there are a lot of issues. Forget about the issues. But there's a lot of challenges which can be overcome in a very structured way. So, and one of the point is that, which we strongly believe in, and whatever we do, it's based on that, creation of wealth by the underprivileged for themselves through comprehensive community enterprise development. Individually, none of the entrepreneurs, some of the smart ones, like, we have very smart people sitting on the dais who are young people, they can do it. But in an average, people cannot do it. So that's community engagement through FPCs. The FPCs by themselves have challenges. We are working for the last 2 years in Meghalaya with Dr. Vijay Kumar. He's agricultural secretary. We realized that he gave us 28 FPs to work with. Many of them has not submitted any ROC filings, IT filings, many of them. 2017, MOC phase 1 was done. Nothing has been done after that. So there are challenges, but we are trying to, there are challenges. There was a lot of things that we learned in the phase 4, with the MOC project. They are doing it differently. So there are challenges, but bottom line is that, it can be done in a very structured way. All the resources which you're having within Donair, with NABARD, with SIDBI, and other, people who are NEC are working out there. But it has, all people, we are doing a lot of, what do you call it, our own silos we are working with. We have to bring people together. People should know. I, for example, need people at ground level in Meghalaya, in Mizoram. It's very difficult for me to recruit people. Though I know Youth Nest in, very well. I know Mrs. Jakali, who's a new, minister, I know. But, when we go to ground level, we recruit some people, it's challenges. Or, the Entrepreneur Associate in associations. We work very closely. But then there are challenges everywhere. So I think that this silo way we are working, we have to overcome that. That's one thing which we said, convergence not only of the government schemes, but also of the people who are working. Like, I'll pick up your card for sure. 2 young people. I met you, sir, about 7-8 years back in your office. I remember that. Now I forget right now. So there is a convergence required. Second thing is that we have to be strong in creating wealth by the underprivileged for themselves by creating scalable community enterprises who we want to take it to the stock market in 5, 7, 10 years, because wealth has to be created at the bottom of the pyramid. That's why there'll be no urban migration. There'll be return. So that's very important. And, we are trying to work on that. That's all I want to share. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. I think it is the challenge, and all challenges are to be addressed. One challenge is of ensuring that everyone has lunch before they feel no more hungry because it's delayed. So I think we have to now sum up. For me, it was very great listening to all the panelists and sir, and it has been a lot of learning. Incidentally, I also belong to, I think all other discussions we will do personally because there are some time constraints. So that is why. Yeah, you can, but will it be okay? Yeah, please. Yeah.
There is one. May I, please? Yes, good afternoon, and it was such a pleasure coming here. My name is Arun Pahava. I'm from the media and coming from the corporate background.
Okay.
I love this region, and the 3 letters which made me come today was NER. And for the obvious reasons, I love it 8 times more. Now, the question over here, I would like to ask you, why has everybody, or have you realized that all of you have used the word challenge multiple times on the each talks? So I have known with very close quarters this place. I've got very good friends and good families over there. And if I may come to the point of suggestion, there are 2 things which I find still missing since 5 years back. One thing which I think we should do is, or rather, whoever is connected with has to win the trust of the people. That is missing. Don't always expect to carry your corporate baggage there and speak that language. Everybody speaks corporate language, which is not required. And the second thing is, keep it KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it small and simple. Why do we make it so complicated? The people are very ordinary, they are lovely people. We need not always talk about the resources all the time. It's the people who are the best resource, and they are the ones to be take one over the side. They might tomorrow lose the resilience. And yes, somebody said this is the right time. So cash on that, and you have to win their confidence to come closer and do the results. Thank you for your time and patience.
Thank you. Actually, you see here, Mark, Sohliya ji, Ms. Nuni, and Kishor Goswami, me, we all are born and brought up in Northeast. So we are definitely having understanding of all the issues right there. And our Sharma ji has been working quite long. Sir has been as donor, heading the donor. He had been visiting at least last 6 months. I have heard about Sir's so many visits. Yes, so you have been visiting, I keep on hearing. So things are being taken care of, but anyways, thank you for your suggestion. So if I may tell that the best thing that has happened today is now I think we are having a lot of pointers towards where we should move. With that, I close this. And thank you, sir, so much for your guidance. Thank you, sir.
महिलाओं और सज्जनों, आज की चर्चा ने ये सिद्ध किया कि उत्तर पूर्व भारत के विकास के लिए समर्पित प्रयास और सटीक नीतियों की आवश्यकता है. These actionable insights will undoubtedly help us as we strive towards a more inclusive and prosperous future. Before we move forward, I encourage all audience members to take a moment to scan the QR codes displayed across the venue and on the screen in front of you shortly, and provide us with your valuable feedback and also participate in the quiz ग्रामीण भारत को जानो. अब समय आ गया है कि हम अपने सभी माननीय वक्ताओं और पैनलिस्ट को एक छोटी सी भेंट के रूप में अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करें. I now request Shri G.S. Rawat, Deputy Managing Director, NABARD, to kindly come on stage and present a memento to our distinguished keynote speaker, Shri Chanchal Kumar, as a token of appreciation. A big round of applause, please. I now request Shri Mani Kumar, CGM, NABARD, to kindly join us on stage and present a memento to our esteemed speaker, Professor Kishor Goswami. जोरदार तालियां हमारे माननीय स्पीकर के लिए। I now request Dr. K.S. Mahesh, CGM, NABARD, to kindly present a memento to our eminent panelist, Dr. Lalit Sharma. Let's hear it for Dr. Sharma. I now request Shri Inigo Arun Selvan, CGM, NABARD, to kindly present a memento to our distinguished speaker, Ms. Nuneseno Cheze. आइए हमारी प्रतिष्ठित पैनलिस्ट को ताली बजाकर सम्मानित करें। I now request our respected moderator, Shri Loken Das, to kindly present a memento to our distinguished speaker, Shri B.K. Sohliya. A big round of applause, please. Next, Shri Mark Lalduhsaka. जोरदार तालियां हमारे माननीय पैनलिस्ट के लिए। अब मैं हमारे सभी स्पीकर्स, पैनलिस्ट्स और मॉडरेटर्स से अनुरोध करती हूं कि वे एक फोटो के लिए मंच पर आगे आएं। Let us capture this moment with a group photograph to commemorate this meaningful occasion.